can help her, Mr.
I let you.
Hey, get in here. Dallas is about to start.
Welcome to the Ewing Barbecue, where we talk about Dallas. My name is Mary.
And I'm Sarah.
I'm Josh.
I'm Melanie.
Has anybody started their Christmas shopping yet?
I started about a while ago.
I have half of it done. It's in the attic in a box.
Not me.
Until December.
I said I was going to start in October, and I did not. And so, but we paid all of our debt off today, so I will start tomorrow.
Congratulations!
That's why we went out to eat tonight. We had a celebratory drinks because we paid all of our debt off. Everything except for the cars are paid off.
That's awesome.
What are y'all drinking? You know, I got the
Old
bourbon.
Mountain by Highland Brewing. It is a seasonal release, and it is fucking amazing.
Oh.
Yes.
Ooh.
It is
Old Mountain.
What is it? A spiced winter ale with vanilla, hazelnut, dark fruit, and cinnamon.
Ooh.
Almost.
Always leave it to
Nice.
Melanie to bring in something new every time and
That's
introduce us
right.
to new products.
That sounds like mine. Well, I'm about to break in. Mine is called Jubilale by the Shoots Brewery. And this says cozy up fireside with this festive winter ale full of spice notes and a robust malt character of toffee and dusted cocoa. An original since 1988.
Shoots. I gotta see if I can get some of that.
Is Sarah pounding any alcohol tonight?
Well, I already had some earlier, so I am not currently, but I'll probably have
Oh.
some vodka in a few minutes.
And while we're on the subject of alcohol, I should break the news that I did hear through Sally Peavy at South Fork Ranch that they are no longer producing J.R. Ewing bourbon.
I'm so sad.
So whatever is in the stores, we have some in Burlington, Massachusetts.
So get it now.
Get it now.
They're
But
no longer producing JR Bourbon Ewing.
if you have those nice collector bottles, you can always pour another brand of bourbon in there and no one will be the wiser. And a little housekeeping before we go back to cast stuff. We got some
Housekeeping.
dates.
Housekeeping. We're so stupid. We're all so dumb. Housekeeping.
First thing, congratulations go out to Emma Bell, who had her first baby, Pfeiffer Bell on
I didn't
Pfeiffer
know
Bell
that.
Robertson on October 28th.
Oh.
And
she
just posted that on her
Who's
Instagram.
her
that
husband?
she
Our
did
boyfriend.
she did not name the baby after Michelle Pfeiffer. She named it Pfeiffer, the baby girl, after Pfeiffer State Park, the Pfeiffer Beach in California, where she and her husband got married.
Is it spelled the same as Michelle Pfeiffer?
Yes.
I like the name Pfeiffer, but I thought you were going to say like the Pfeiffer. Isn't that the rat's name on American Tell?
Isn't it Fievel?
Oh, Fievel. Sorry.
Goes west.
But I still like Pfeiffer. No,
you got the
yeah.
you got the full part right. The F,
I
sound.
still like Pfeiffer, but I thought that was.
Can we send out condolences to the family of Alex Trebek?
Oh, I know.
know.
That made
Yes.
me cry, y'all. It really did. My brother and I used to watch Jeopardy since we were like 5 years old.
But you can
Which
watch him through Christmas Day. He's still has that.
I know.
He seemed like a nice man, you know?
I know. They said his last recording was like October or something, and that got them through the end of the year. And after that, there's no more recordings of him alive. I mean, well, you know what I mean? Like no more live recordings.
No more recordings of him alive. That's,
I don't want to see
live
that.
recordings.
But
that's a little cumbersome. Yeah.
But y'all, they're talking about replacing him.
Ken Jennings and LeVar Burton.
Reading Rainbow. It's amazing.
Roots?
I want somebody just like him.
That's not going to happen, unfortunately. He wanted Betty White because he wanted them to go younger, as he was joking.
I was like, what? They should just get somebody like, I can't even think. I'm sorry, I can't.
There was a list of people, and they said, please, no Jimmy Kimmel. Please, no.
Oh, for the love of God.
I don't want to think about it yet. I want to savor the last ones with, we need to drink. Raise a glass to Trebek. Okay, so I was noting birthdays this month. November 14th, we had Christopher from JR Returns. Chris Demetral was, he turned 44 on the 14th of November. November 21st, Deborah Shelton, celebrating her birthday. I have to look up her age.
And then Christopher's my birthday, right?
Yes, he is November 27th, 1978. So he will
Joshua Harris.
Which is a week from tomorrow, my birthday.
How old are you going to be, Sarah?
Be
42.
Young.
So on just before Thanksgiving, Linda Gray posted on her Instagram that she had lost her son Jeffrey Thrasher. Yes, excuse me, something in my throat.
He had leukemia, right?
Talking. I need a drink.
At the age of 56.
Yeah,
leukemia, which is the same thing that got Larry.
No, but is
it the same type of leukemia?
No, probably not.
He had it for a while,
just
right?
the umbrella of leukemia.
Yeah,
still.
sad.
He was a year ish.
About a year, yeah. And
I'm 42.
56.
So young.
He was.
I think he had recently been married. He had recently been married, I believe.
Yeah, he'd only been married a couple years. When Linda's book came out, she described Jeff like he was the quiet one, the one who sat back and observed. He internalized everything.
Yes.
He'd take off. He'd take off on his own, go biking in the canyon.
Jeffrey actually worked behind the scenes as a producer and a director, and he worked on things like Junior Chef Showdown, Canada's Smartest Person Junior, Amazing Race.
So do we know his wife's
Canada,
name?
Mission Asteroid. I almost said Canadia. I almost said Canadia.
Canadia.
Let's raise a toast to Linda and her son Jeff.
And their whole family.
And their whole family. Sorry, guys. Our condolences. Tonight, we are talking about Season 3, Episode 20, Second Thoughts.
I don't like it. I don't like it one little bit. I told you I wanted you and Lucy married and out of Dallas as soon as possible. If you plan on being in Dallas 2 weeks from now, you better have the wedding date set by then, boy.
You know, I've been racking my brains trying to figure out what kind of a present I can give Lucy for a wedding. Well, I think I've come up with something that should please her and Alan both. So I'd like to introduce to you the newest partner of Smithfield and Bennett Law Firm, Alan Beam.
We had a deal, remember? You got Lucy in a private law practice in Chicago, and I got Lucy and her scheming parents out of my hair, and that's the way it's going to be, because if it's not, the wedding's off.
I don't think so, JR.
You calling the shots now, are you?
Yeah, I guess I am. I'm going to marry Lucy. And I'm going to have that law partnership. You can't do anything to stop me.
It was written by Linda Elstad, directed by Irving J. Moore, and aired February 8th, 1980.
And what do we have in the cast here? We have Robert Rockwell played the role of Mitchell in this episode, and he also played Jor-El, Superman's father, in the George Reeves Superman series. No relation to Christopher Reeve, who is without the S. Let's see. Christopher Coffey makes his first appearance as Professor Greg Forrester in this episode.
Greg Forrester.
Christopher Skinner, who was Victoria Principal's husband at the time, played Kettering, a student in Lucy's class.
That was her first husband, right?
Yeah, and they were only married for 20 months. They got married in Las Vegas 3 months after they met, and were divorced 20 months later.
And then she started dating Mr. Gibbs.
It's like a Britney Spears marriage or something.
Yeah. And this was the first episode of the series out of 58 to come in at number 1 in the ratings.
Woo-woo.
So raise a glass to that. Woohoo! Woo-woo. This was the first of 7 scripts written by Linda Elstad, who was also a staff writer for One Day at a Time and Call to Glory, which co-starred
One Day at a Time.
Which co-starred Dallas cast members Keenan Wynn and Priscilla Pointer.
Digger and Rebecca.
Who never shared a scene on Dallas with each other. And wait, Elstad died November 21st. Oh, November 21st, 1997 at the age of 65. That is all the information that I have for you at this time, and that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
All right, so we open on Alan Beam's apartment.
I like the nice aerial shot of the city.
That was cool.
As we
I did too.
That's true.
I did too.
It showed. It's very interesting looking at Dallas then and the Dallas that we've all been to in recent. Just seeing how the skyline and things.
It really
have
makes it look
changed.
way bigger than it is.
Yes.
Way bigger, yes.
And they must be getting a budget because they can now do aerial helicopter.
That's true.
shots.
Yeah.
Yes,
just showing off.
we are in the second decade. We're in the 80s now.
You guys have all
bitches.
been there. I've only been to DFW airport for layovers. That's it.
So Alan Beam
JR
in his
is
robe.
grilling the fuck out of him.
Well, Alan's prancing around in his
prancing
robe
merrily.
drinking coffee.
The robe.
With his beamskin rug peeking out of the top of the robe there.
And he's like, guess what, motherfucker? I know about Betty Lou. And Alan's like, what?
How do you know about Betty Lou?
What?
Like he's been keeping her so hidden.
And he's like, dude, you know what? If I didn't think you were the right man for the job, then I wouldn't have like investigated you so heavily or some shit like that. He said something to that effect, like, I investigate everybody.
Yeah, JR's not going to not investigate somebody and put them
He's
on
like,
the table.
yeah, I knew about her.
No.
I feel like Alan Beam doesn't know JR at all. Like before, you kind of thought that maybe Ellen got it, but this episode makes it clear he does not have any idea.
Yeah, this is called the let's screw Alan Beam episode here.
So Alan was trying to screw JR. So
yeah.
Anyway,
so JR says he wants that wedding date set within 2 weeks, or you're not going to be in this city. You're going to be out of here.
It's like, okay, well, actually, would you like to marry Lucy? I mean, you're so dead set on it, man.
Right.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I'm just throwing that out there.
You want JR to marry Lucy?
Well, he's so damn dead set on Alan getting married to her. I mean, he's like, set that wedding date. It's just like,
he just wants to get her away, and he thinks that's the only way he can get her like away from him.
Get her off to Chicago. Get rid of her quote unquote scheming parents.
And yeah, that
scheming
was
parents.
Thing.
They're living in freaking
He
California.
Said scheming parents, and I was like, I wrote a note that said they are literally no threat to him. What the fuck is his problem?
I'm going to say let's call this now because JR throughout this episode, it becomes clear that he's super paranoid about a bunch of people. Val and Gary, Cliff, and then I think there's one other person who he's just like, they're going to be after me. They're after me. And you're like, dude, they're not. They don't give a shit.
All I could hear by the end of this episode was Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath, Paranoia.
It's crazy.
So we go from Alan Beam in his bathrobe to Muriel in her black leather jacket,
and
walking with Lucy through SMU.
She has cold feet.
Oh,
And that's not like Lucy. Like Lucy's always gung ho about this kind of shit. And she's like, I don't know, I gotta concentrate on school. And it's like, what the fuck?
Muriel's all like, so
her senses are kicking in.
So are you gonna pick a maid of honor? Because that would be really cool if you picked your maid of honor. Who are you gonna pick?
Like, I don't know.
Well, you're the only friend I have.
And she's like, okay. And Lucy's like, no, of course you're going to be it. But I don't know about the whole wedding. And that's when I was like, girl, what?
And she's really into, this makes me really happy, is she's actually like fallen in love with school. She's actually
is it school or is it the person teaching the class?
I think it doesn't matter because, it started with, she has a crush on her professor, obviously.
In her lit class. We know it's the lit class because they're reading Madame Bovary.
She's really into the book. She is digging that book. She's not just pretending to read it.
And later in the episode, she says as much to JR. She's like, or not even to JR, to Alan, just like, I need to do this for me.
Right.
I need to get through school because he's like, blah, blah, blah. What about when you're Mrs. Alan Beam? And she's like,
you don't need school for that.
You can still have a fucking college degree and a career.
No. This is old school chauvinism. Remember,
school, but my mom is old school, and she always told me to graduate. She's like,
because
never depend on
cannot
anybody
take your
else.
education from you.
Didn't a lot of them go to finishing schools back there?
Before this, that was
my mom didn't.
Debs, maybe, and some debutantes are still a part of society, but like even Sue Ellen graduated from college, and she married JR.
Because I know
she could have done whatever.
I wasn't a debutante. I was the equivalent of Alabama. I was a Miss Navy of Bell.
Look at you.
I'll post
I
that
know
Make it
picture
that far
later
on
for y'all.
Society. I was a little main hick.
It's
I
really
know that the
fucking
actress
funny.
who played
I will
Luella
show you.
actually went to Pine Manor College here in Brookline, Massachusetts, when it was a finishing school
Where's my phone?
back in the day.
I'm going to send it to y'all right now.
But so finishing schools, but Lucy wants her education. And
She does. And Muriel is kind of pissed about it. Muriel's like you used to be a bunch of fun and whatever. And Lucy's like, well, sorry.
Muriel, why don't you marry Alan Beam? You seem so hot after.
She seems like she'd be into that.
But even at this point, it's almost like Lucy gets it.
Yeah.
Like she's starting to, like you guys said, intuition's kicking in.
Yep, intuition and growing up and realizing, I guess she's not like admitting it to herself, but kind of realizing she's not into any of that. She doesn't really want it. Mostly with Alan.
She even says that.
Is she giving up her slot in the hayloft?
Yeah.
While Lucy's growing up, Cliff is kind of regressing here in his messy apartment.
Before that, I'd like to. Lucy goes to her classroom. We skip that.
Oh, she does, yes.
Yeah. No, well, we mentioned she's making googly eyes at the professor.
More than that, every
makes
single
googly
one
eyes
of
at
those
everybody.
boys has like the same hair. It's like this like wavy, curly, blown out thing.
I noticed that. That's 1981 or 80 or whatever.
Holy
80.
shit.
I think my cousin had it. Yes, for sure.
Dad's hair was too curly to have that done. So he had like this giant fro.
That's pretty common too.
My dad did, but he straightened the blow dryer.
My mom tried to feather it, but it didn't really work out. I mean, she actually.
Oh my God.
Feather it.
Feather it.
That's what these boys say. It's all feathered. With the blow dryer.
I take
That's
that
like
back.
That's like the Brady Bunch men. They all had perms by the end of
I
the
take it back. She had fine hair. She kind of looked like Princess Diana
had
with
lots
her
of
hair.
perms.
She kind of did.
And it was a big look. That was a look. It was a thing.
Yeah. Now
And
that I think about
it was also
she was Princess Diana's age. My mom's born the same year.
Okay, so we go to Cliff's.
Cliff's
Cliff is
he's a mess. He's waiting for the pizza.
It's in the bell jar, man.
Yeah, he's waiting for the pizza, but the pizza is Pam and not the pizza.
Right.
And he's like, "Hey, Pam,
Starts with a
come
P,
in."
but not it's not the P that he's looking for. He wants the pizza.
It's just
not
like,
Pam.
"What's going on?" He's like, "Blah blah blah," and then
He's Eeyore.
he's here. Whoop whoop. Well, yeah. Charlie Brown's teacher depressed.
Eeyore was my favorite.
Oh, wah, wah.
What,
But
the
then
guests
he's
are
like-
not coming? We can eat the Chex Party mix? Woo!
Yeah. And then he's like, "Oh yeah, Digger's leaving." And she's
Heading
like,
to
"What?"
Galveston.
And he's like, "Rah rah, I'm leaving. Nothing to keep me here." And she's like, "Daddy, I'm here." And he's like,
he's bored and
He feels useless.
because he has really nothing to do. I mean, he could probably take care of his son who's super depressed, but also I don't think he knows how to do that.
He doesn't really know how to be a father.
Oh, yeah.
See, he drifted.
No.
He did enough to keep them fed and clothed, but that was like it.
That was about it. Yeah.
The raising went to Aunt Maggie.
Aunt Maggie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who
he's just like, I
was
gotta go.
who was raising cousin Jimmy Monahan, but
Who knows what's happening with cousin Jimmy? I don't know.
he would have been interesting to bring back at some
It
point.
would have
Just to give Cliff some relation.
Mm-hmm.
But Pam's going to drive him to the bus stop because he doesn't fly unless he absolutely
He has to. It was an interesting little tidbit of knowledge.
Yeah.
But did he show up on a plane?
He did. Maybe he had to.
With
Maybe
a
he was
diff- with a
coming
diff-
from
He had to.
somewhere.
Well, because he had
An
to go through
island.
the airport because he had to be recast, and that's
Maybe
what
he
they
was
do.
coming from like Alaska or something. That's
Coming
pretty
from
far
California.
Texas.
It's coming
Or
from
South
Oh, was
California.
it California?
Yeah.
From
Well, then that's not
Alaska.
that far.
No,
Really?
Or South America?
but
Maybe.
he needed to go through the airport because that's where they recast the characters there.
Right,
So
right.
So, and then I put, okay, Lucy goes to class
right.
and blah, 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 words. And then
Well,
she
she's-
forgets a date.
Oh no! Okay, I've got that. Yeah. She was mesmerized by the Madame Bovary,
Bovary.
Madame Bovary.
Uh-huh. She's like, that's when you notice she's really into it. 'Cause she's just like, yeah, this book is great.
And then Alan is there to pick her up to go for the wedding rings
Right.
at 3 because she told him to come, but she now forgets this.
Right.
And she wants
Give
to
a fuck.
put it off until after the semester. Because as we learn, she lost time because she popped over to Knots Landing.
Right, which they bring up that she'd been visiting her parents,
Yes.
and they hadn't mentioned that she left to do that on the show.
Right, and
Maybe
that was like episode 6 of that first season of Knots Landing, where she was with Gary and Val, staying out there for a bit.
Right.
And
Also, her shirt is unbuttoned to her navel in this scene.
Hey,
It is
I
just
thought
like
that. Okay,
all the way down.
I wasn't crazy.
Like,
then.
Lucy, button up your, like, it's almost as bad as Bobby. Like, Jesus. Button that shit up.
button up or shut up. Yeah, button up and shut up. So then more fashion here. We have Pam wearing her fur coat that night at South Fork. Now this whole this sequence though,
I want another
this
fur
sequence seemed a little, I was trying to figure out, did all of this take place after dinner?
Yes.
Okay.
They have.
Were you trying to
before
figure
dinner
out if
drinks,
you needed
they
a
have,
fur coat?
They have drinks probably during dinner, and they have after dinner drinks.
Yeah, but this scene took place outside, walking in there near the pool.
Oh, I thought you were talking about. Okay.
No, yeah, because Bobby and Pam were out there. Then there's a scene, JR walking in on Lucy reading, and then we cut up to Pam and Bobby in the bedroom, and she's in her nightgown.
No, there's a whole scene before that.
Shit.
Yeah. There's a whole scene before that. It starts with JR talking to Lucy about the book.
I briefly mentioned that.
There's a lot that goes on
There's
there.
a whole lot that goes on in this scene.
Yeah, but there's first we're outside with Pam and Bobby. Then we're inside. Pam and Bobby have not, they.
And Sue Ellen's being super suspicious.
Right, but Pam and Bobby were walking back towards the house, but then they weren't inside. We never saw them inside. And the next time we see them, they're upstairs in their bedroom in their nightgown. So it was just a little.
No, they're in the living room.
No, they weren't. They weren't in the living room. It was JR and Sue Ellen, and then
when Sue Ellen was being weird.
Yeah, and then Jock and Ellie were there.
Right. Yes, because
then then after that whole scene, we cut to Pam and Bobby up in their bedroom, and
seems like he always wants to skip over JR and Sue Ellen.
Who?
Just piss me off. You.
Melanie's favorite.
No, I'm just saying this sequence was just a little.
Maybe Pam and Bobby didn't want to be around the parents. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe that's when got serious
weren't though.
I didn't know if this whole sequence took place after dinner with them walking outside and then cut to inside.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Yeah, totally. Right. After dinner, because they're all like drinking after dinner, and that's Sue Ellen's like cuddling up to JR.
And he's like, I'm slightly intrigued. Kind of weirded out, but
I'm gonna go to bed early.
I'm also curious.
Because when I was watching it, I'm thinking
he's
that
like, what is this?
When I'm watching it, I'm thinking that they hadn't had dinner yet, and I'm going, it's awful early for JR and Sue Ellen to excuse themselves for bed. So
I think it was early anyway, so that's why. Then everybody in the room, that was so weird. Everybody in the room's like looking at each other, like Ellie and Jock and even Lucy, and they're like, "Oh, they're getting it on," and everyone's like, "Oh, that's so great," and I'm like, "That's awkward."
Right. Also, when Pam was outside, though, we just have to mention, she was talking about how she's worried about Cliff. And she's trying to get Bobby to help Cliff find a job.
Yeah.
Or help Cliff somehow. And Bobby is like,
I was like,
let's just let time run its course and let him have more time. And she's like, you don't really want to help him. And he says, do you blame me? And that's the end of their scene.
Yeah.
So.
I thought it was funny, like the whole thing, like Sue Ellen like kind of sashayed out of the living room, and JR caught up to her on the stairs, and he's like, "What the hell was that all about?" And she's like, "Has it been so long that you don't recognize genuine affection?" And then he's kind of like,
"Oh, I want to get some sweet."
Like, okay,
yeah. Here's my vagina.
Like JJ.
So then it cuts to Pam. I put Pam looks wistful.
But Jock and Ellie think that they're actually doing better, remember?
Doing better. And Lucy's like, maybe they came down with sleeping sickness.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, Lucy with your one-liner.
I've got
Wah, wah.
I know.
But
they do.
So then, like, did you already talk about Pam and Bobby and giving Cliff a job and Pam looking wistful? Okay. So then it cuts to back to Sue Ellen and JR in their bedroom.
No, because Pam and Bobby were in the bedroom, and then she finally convinced him. But
to give Cliff a job?
Yeah.
Yeah. He said he would.
Bobby's like, I don't want to, but fine. I guess I will.
Well, he knows that Cliff won't accept it.
Right. He knows.
He's too proud.
Right.
He almost just fucked Jenna, so he has to do it.
But
yeah,
baby.
he's like, whoop.
But we need something for Cliff, involving Cliff this episode. So
right.
So then we end up in, of all places, JR in Sue Ellen's bedroom, and he comes, funnily enough, out of the closet and comes up behind her, and he's like, "Hey, baby," and she's like, "Nah," and he's like, "What the hell?" And she's like, "Nah."
Impatience is not one of your most attractive qualities.
I summarized it. I'm sorry. I summarized it in millennial speak.
Yeah, he's horny.
She made him horny, and now she's like, nope.
He's horny.
And he's like, what the fuck?
Horny, hard to get.
I got blue balls here. What's going on?
He's like, excuse me. And she's like, no, I don't feel well. And then he's get pissed off, starts to leave, and she goes, "Say hello to Kristin for me."
But I like the line.
Yeah, that's it.
I like the line.
Classic.
Impatience is not one of your most attractive qualities.
The best though is when that is literally she's like, oh, like it's like the classic.
Headache.
I've got a headache, and then her dig as you're walking out is say hey to Kristin.
And
for
he
me.
walks
like,
out,
that's the
and
best.
then she's like that grin on her face. She's like,
because she didn't get.
Only he didn't go to Kristin's that
night. He did not. And I think like that made him probably, even if he was thinking about it, he's like, well, I'm not going to go to Kristin's now.
I'm not giving her the satisfaction of knowing where I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm going to Serena's instead.
I'm going to go bang that whore, Serena.
Pays her for it. I mean, honestly, it's probably easier because there's like a transaction there. He knows that like she's not going to all get involved and he just gets to do it and it's fine.
And I made this note. He picks a hooker over the mistress.
Sex worker, thank you.
He picks a sex worker over his mistress. That kind of makes sense in a sick sort of way.
Sick sort of way?
In a sick sort of way, because he picked a sex worker over his mistress.
Yeah, because he doesn't give a fuck about her.
Because he doesn't want any drama. He just wants the sex. That's all he wants. He wants to just have...
Well, also because the sex worker was not his sister-in-law.
He didn't want the drama. He didn't want to have to go in and like speak to her and be nice, have a drink, seduce her.
The bloom is off the rose
he
with
just
her.
wants to go have the
And
dick.
they even cover that later on. Like Kristin gets like, rah, and he's like, I mean, it's too much.
Like it's
too
too
familiar.
much. Like he knows he's gotten in too deep.
Right.
Oh, we'll cover that.
And that's where I think this episode kind of is where it starts
to unravels even more.
It's
maybe
been
more
there for
before.
a while.
Yeah, I think but I think he starts to see like I've pulled in somebody that is too much to handle.
Yeah,
like she's
Shit,
crazy.
I fucked up.
I mean, I wouldn't have sex with my sister's husband.
Ew.
So I mean, you've got to be a little crazy to go on that.
So then Lucy has a power struggle with her dude classmate with the hair.
Victoria Principal's husband.
Oh yeah, Victoria Principal's husband at the time.
Yes.
Christopher Skinner, the
Fuck
student.
his dumb
And I just wrote, fuck his dumb hair.
Like, ugh.
That's such 80s.
Fuck your couch.
And well, you see Bobby at that time with his helmet hair.
He did have some big old hair.
Sprayed it.
Fuck your hair.
Fuck his dumb hair.
And can we give a shout out to Patrick Duffy and Linda Pearl, who are now an item from Happy Days?
I love that. That makes me happy.
So
He
cute.
found his Linda. Yes.
Yeah, I'm happy for him. Kristin is pissed. Kristin's pissed.
She barges into JR's office and she's greeted with him
Luella.
reconnecting with the married Luella.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And she's like, I'm sorry, what? What's happening?
She's acting like a wife.
But
She is, definitely.
Yeah, but should she not be acting like a wife? He's kind of made her feel like that.
Right. And Kristen's like, what? Yeah, she doesn't like it. And then she's all like, I waited up for you and you never called. And he was just like, okay, what? I don't
have to answer
You,
you.
JR.
Yeah, why don't you go do some work? I got to go chat with my
JR.
This isn't a thing. I don't have to call you. Whatever.
Yeah, he's starting
because
to make,
he's insecure
starting to piss some people
and he's
off
trying
here,
to make everybody think that he's like the big man on campus.
I don't know.
Right. Who does that sound like right now? I'm just kidding.
And then JR overhears Bobby trying to get Cliff a job.
Yeah.
And the look on JR's face is just priceless.
He's like, what the fuck are you doing trying to hire out Cliff?
He said,
what?
He said, even after Cliff dies,
So
I wouldn't be
awful.
surprised if he came back and was still haunting that sort of thing. It's just like,
Right. So yeah, JR is paranoid as shit. He thinks everybody's out to get him, and like nobody is really like. If he would have just left all these things,
and
it
then
would
he
have been
said,
fine.
and then he said about how he almost went and fooled around with Jenna, and next time he wants to placate his wife, why doesn't he just buy her
Buy a
some
piece of jewelry.
or something like that?
JR just revealed something about placating his angry, hurt wife with gifts.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, yes, he did.
Here's Sue Ellen. Here's some pearls.
JR referred to it as Ewing Enterprises in
He
this scene.
did. I noticed that.
Yes.
And Bobby tries to threaten him, and JR just rolls his eyes at Bobby. And I'd roll my eyes too, Bobby. Like, enough. Just stop.
Bobby tells JR, do you want to be a good little boy and leave, or do you want me to bounce you out of here by on your nose?
Yeah, you just stop with the threats, the physical threats, Bobby. Like, seriously, dude.
Why don't they just go up to the top of the building and see who has a further piss stream off the top of the building? You know, I mean, that's what they want to do.
Oh, basically, yeah. So Ellen's feeding John Ross.
So stinking cute.
In his room. And again, the
it never
rainbow on the side.
Goddamn rainbow. Somebody straighten it for the love of God. It's been like a season.
After y'all told me that, I went way forward, and it is like
time.
Forever. Yeah, it will bug us forever.
Still that way, goddammit.
So then they skip to his family's home outside.
Whoa. We're still there. Miss Ellie comes in.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Miss Ellie comes in. I forgot about that.
Yep, and so Ellen's all like, so what if we didn't live here anymore?
Sue Ellen, what are you up to, Sue Ellen? What are you?
She's not having it. She's just like, yeah, that's not happening.
Don't be silly.
That's not happening.
She's like, no. What if you didn't see him anymore? Like what? And I'm like, why, bitch? Why would you say?
What are you up to?
Like, what the hell? You don't say shit like that. You never. What are the 3 things that you don't tell anybody about? Your finances, your love life, your next move. Hello.
Right. Yeah, and Ellen does this all the time. She's just like,
you're telling this to a woman who has taken a horsewhip to her husband and pulled a shotgun out of the hall closet on a reporter.
Not a good idea.
I just peed my pants. I just peed a little in my pants. No,
Yes.
it happens all the time. It happens all the time.
Do something about that.
Well, that depends.
No,
that
I've
depends.
had 2 children.
That depends.
Josh's sweeps over.
Did you notice when Miss Ellie went to kiss John Ross before she went downstairs? There was a weird weird camera angle from the front. It was just kind of an awkward.
I didn't notice that.
I just thought it was an awkward, weird camera angle showing the back behind them, and I'm just like,
yeah.
It caught, as a videographer, it caught my attention. I'm going.
I did not notice. I just noticed the piss in my pants right now. No.
Go change your pants, honey. Do you need to change your pants?
Better to be pissed off. Better to be pissed off than pissed on.
No, if you're doing it yourself.
If you just piss yourself, go put some panties and a poise on and come back.
Well, have on pajama pants.
Okay, so now everyone out there knows Sarah does not wear underwear.
No, I do, but I have on pajama pants. I sit naked, so I'm in pajama pants.
Weird panties?
No panties, but I'm just saying, like, I just literally, just a little bit.
But you just peed yourself, girl.
Charge extra for this,
the
Mary.
bonus footage of this
is the uncut. This is the uncut version. You know what? No, you know what? There is no shame. I have fucking 2 kids, and Scott. I will sneeze and piss my pants, and Scott thinks it's hysterical.
Right.
And I'm telling you, y'all, like me and Scott.
It happens.
No,
even when you haven't had kids and you laugh too damn hard, or you
it's
sneeze,
a bladder
like,
thing when you get older. But I
think it's a woman thing as you get older because everything just starts to drop. Oh boy.
Okay.
So they say Harv Smithfield's going to retire soon.
Oh yes, families gathered at the pool.
Yeah, like Harv Smithfield's retiring. Like what? This is new. I feel like he's not going to retire.
I don't think he's going to retire.
I feel like he's not going to retire.
Harv Smithfield strikes me as someone who is going to work until the hearse is pulling up to the curb, like the singer Warren Zevon.
He might work until he gets to introduce his niece to JR.
If he had a niece, he would introduce her to JR. I'm sure that would happen. Yeah.
Like maybe he has a lawyer niece that he needs to introduce to JR in 15 years. We don't know.
So they're going to
keep dreaming. Keep dreaming.
They're going to. He's offering Alan the job at Smithfield and Bennett. Anyway.
This is the scene that Jim Davis tripped over and over and over again. He kept calling it Smithfield and Wesson.
Really?
They manufacture guns when they're not practicing law.
What Abbott and Bennett and Smithfield
and Costello,
and he was like, "Damn it."
It's in the blooper reel. He
it is.
Say it right like 5 times. He was like, "How'd you like a partnership with Smithfield?" God damn it. That whole Jim Davis.
That's awesome.
Was he?
Yeah.
Does he still have his hair at this point? Because his hair looked a little.
I think it's still his real hair.
Okay, it looked a little. It looked. I'm not sure if it was the lighting, but it looked a little whiter in this.
Yeah. He passed for about a year and a half. And later,
maybe
about a year later, yeah.
Maybe he's just starting to get more weight. If he's getting sick at this point, maybe his hair could be just getting whiter.
Yeah,
he could be having the symptoms, but have not been diagnosed yet.
Right.
Or that too. He's just his body is getting sicker, whether he knows it or not. Yeah.
Right.
So.
And we obviously it's the soundstage for the pool because the matted backdrops and everything like that and the lighting.
So JR literally chokes on his drink when Jock says this.
And Sue Ellen thinks it's hilarious. She's like,
like everyone else just kind of stands there. They don't really react, but Lucy's just kind of all like, fuck this.
Like, yeah, okay. And Alan's like, oh, well, how could I turn it down? Sure. And JR's like, come on in the house, buddy. I'll buy you a drink.
Right.
I love that expression, buy you a drink.
No.
Yeah, I need to incorporate that into my own world.
We never see money exchange hands. No.
I'm going to use buy you a drink like Fonzie used step into my office, Cunningham, on Happy Days.
So then we go to Jock interrupts them, obviously, in the den, and then we go to commercial.
I can't believe that JR was so open to start going off on Alan right there in the house when anybody could have walked in.
Yeah, he wasn't fucking around.
No, he was like, I thought your plan was to go to Chicago, and it's just like, dude,
on the phone. Yeah.
He's like Sue Ellen talking to her boyfriend on the phone, not subtle, right in the middle of everything.
Talking to Cliff right there at the bottom of the staircase with the phone.
Or Dusty in the den.
Yes, Dusty. I'll be there soon, Dusty.
Dusty.
And then we come back and JR is in Alan Beam's apartment and he goes, first thing he says, you two-timing, double-crossing little rat.
That's creepy.
That must be why I put, well, that's creepy as fuck.
Yeah, it was creepy. It was. That's like some serial killer shit.
JR has a habit of being in people's apartments in the dark, and then when they turn the lights on, he's there.
That would be scary as shit.
You know what? A guy like that would not want to do that
I
shit
would
today
too.
because he'd get fucking shot. He
Right.
would, I would
What are you
shoot
doing?
him.
Yes,
I'd
I
be
would
like,
too.
What the fuck you doing in my house? Get out.
So Alan is overplaying his hand here.
Yes, clearly.
Yeah.
JR says it's the biggest mistake of his life. But
Not wrong. Not wrong.
no, because this really is a turning point episode for Alan Beam.
A bit. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
As you're going to see by the end, things are just starting to shift underneath him, and the bottom is becoming the top, and the top is becoming the bottom, and we go to boop, to boop, to boop, to boop, and
Alan has a lot of confidence for someone who doesn't have a lot to back it up. Just gonna say that.
well, he has the beam skin rug, so he thinks that's where his power comes from.
He thinks that's just gonna sail him through, and you know what, Alan, I'm gonna say that's not a good idea.
Even Betty Lou won't be having it by the end of that.
Right.
Yeah.
And no one wants to No one wants to hire poor Cliff because he's pissed them all off as a politician.
Right. And he says he'll rot in hell before he takes a handout from a Ewing. Because Bobby had this person who, a legal assistant, and Cliff is, first he's insulted at being a legal assistant after where his career was.
Which is true.
True. But Cliff, you have only yourself to blame. You burn bridges.
Right. And here's my question. Why can't he just practice on his own? Why does he have to join a firm? Why can't he just go and be his own, like open his own shop, throw up a shingle, be your own lawyer?
Wasn't all the money, no, that wasn't even his money, but doesn't he not have any?
Yep. Yeah. But he could literally be like, hi, I have a business. And then just try, he's a lawyer. He could go be a defense lawyer. You know, everybody always needs a lawyer.
That's sad, but true in this country. Yes. But, he could build based on reputation, but that's going to take some time. And
so you start going down to, the courthouse. I don't know.
You become the ambulance chaser.
Become like a public defender, to start. Maybe he's above that, though. Maybe he considers himself above that. I don't know.
Because he has a bit of ego, pride, whatever it is that will not allow him.
He too could be Saul Goodman,
Oh, Saul Goodman, yes.
We brought up what JR said about scheming parents earlier in the episode, didn't we? Because he brought that up to Alan Beam in the apartment. Scheming parent, Lucy's scheming parents.
Oh, Lucy's scheming parents, yes.
Oh, yeah. Because I wrote down, I don't get it. They're not scheming.
They're living in California.
You're just a paranoid motherfucker.
He's so paranoid. It's crazy.
Like, so maybe somebody dies and you have to give them $2 million. Who cares? Shut the fuck up. Pay them off like you do everybody else.
Right.
Let them go on their merry way.
Yeah, they don't give a shit, JR. They literally don't give a shit. They just don't want to be around you.
Valine is busy trying to keep him off the bottle because he is screwing things up in Knots Landing Motors right now in California. And
that's going to come to an end soon.
Getting the bed with people with stolen auto parts. So he's right. But
sounds like maybe Bobby needs to call him
it's
for
all
some favors
JR.
or some
it's all JR.
Cash, Coke, girls.
I had the hiccups. I'm sorry.
Need cars? I got cars.
Has Gary even been back to South Fork since he and Val got married?
No, he has not.
Lucy went out there for a visit.
Right.
And frolicked in the ocean with mommy and daddy, jumping up and down.
JR went there. They're like staying there. They don't want to be by JR.
JR went there to try and drill for oil off the coast, and
California. Good luck.
And Karen McKenzie led the whole anti-oil protests and shut him down. And she is one woman that will stand up to JR too. So now we go to the office, and JR is complaining. Is he at the office?
Yeah, I think it's that.
Yeah, he's at the office. Yeah, he's complaining to Kristin about the Alan Beam situation.
Kristin is getting the wife treatment now.
And Kristin wants to help him in all the ways. All the ways.
JR, you cannot keep going back and forth like this. You can't give her the wifing treatment and then brush her off. You need to
be consistent. No wonder she's like out there like floundering because you're treating her one way and then
but that's
not
why they're
treating her
building
that
it up
way
to
the
what
next
comes
second.
up
He's being
to.
consistently inconsistent.
True.
But no. But what I'm saying, I don't want
Whatever the hell that means. I don't know. You've been drinking, girls. Just
what I'm saying is
no, but
it doesn't make that right at all. But if you treat somebody so bad for so long, they're eventually going to blow their top.
No.
I don't know how, but they're eventually going to blow their top, whether it's like call you out being married.
Yes, they are.
And his steam comes out of the ears. Yeah. So whether it's call you out to your wife or this or that or whatever.
Well,
it's going to be like in a cartoon where the little head pops up, the little skull blows off and flames come out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to happen. But if you treat somebody like that for so long, they are eventually going to act out in some sort of way, whether it's ghost you and walk away or fucking stalk you or this or that or that or that.
This is true.
Eventually, it's not all his fault. It's not all her fault, but she's crazy. But something is going. That's what I'm saying. And there is a couple of crazy eyes.
You can see it in her eyes. She's got the cray eyes.
But this
crazy
is
eyes.
first crazy eyes. And yeah. And eventually something's going to happen with crazy eyes.
Yes.
Eventually.
Kristin gets the wife treatment. Like, this is how he treats every woman, not just Sue Ellen.
Exactly.
Like, he'll charm him at first. He'll win him over, get him into bed, whatever. In Sue Ellen's case, he married her. And then
they're his slaves.
Yep. It's like whatever,
Yep. They are his undivided.
He tells her she can't help. And then she asks if he's bored with her, and familiarity breeds contempt.
Mm-hmm.
That was telling.
Right.
And he uses an expression that Larry Hagman used when the show went off the air. He said, "The bloom is off the rose."
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is pretty harsh, I think.
And she's really coming across as she's really coming across as overeager here, and
which pretty much you're fucking crazy. What the fuck is wrong with you?
He's trying to say, I'm kind of disenchanted with you now,
right?
In not, and JR's the kind of guy that I thought would just kind of like lay it all out, but it's almost like he's like, I don't know if I want to go out and say she's fucking crazy, but
because that's what he meant.
He doesn't. I don't think he completely wants to end it because he wants that still to be an option for him. But at the same time, he's annoyed with the option right now.
You can't take the horse out of the barn and ride the horse and then leave the horse in the barn and not touch the horse again. You need to either own the horse or not own the horse.
Yes.
Yes.
Not that Kristin is a horse, but.
No, but yes, good analogy. He wants her as a backup.
Yeah.
So he kind of like, he's kind of like, and makes
be there
her
when he
be
needs
like
her, but not. He doesn't want to deal with her when he doesn't
need her.
Exactly.
He's the relief pitcher in the bullpen, just waiting to come into the game. But
which is fucking bullshit. Yes.
Right.
Fuck you, JR.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mary.
No.
Which is exactly what Betty Lou is basically going to tell him in the next scene.
Yes.
I'm glad Betty Lou tells him to take a hike.
Let's go to the next scene.
Yeah.
Terry Johnson or was it Laura Johnson from Knots Landing? I mean, Falcon Crest,
yeah.
Who just actually lost Abby Dalton, who was an original cast member this week.
I saw that. Yes.
Yeah, he tries to buy her off, and she's not having it. She's like,
$1,000.
Yeah, get out of here with that.
That's like parking meter change for him.
It is.
Yeah, you've got 10 million, so let's give a little more.
Okay, 1,500, 2,000. What do you want?
She just kicks him out.
Yeah, she refuses. And he'll do it one of two ways. He'll do it with her, or he'll do it on his own without her.
Right. So then JR is like, okay, I'm going to try to enlist Bobby's help. And Bobby's just like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to help you with that.
Right. He drops the whole Betty Lou thing on Bobby. Bobby's like, it's really not his place to get involved. Now JR claims he's concerned about Lucy's well-being.
Whatever, JR. Sure.
The hell up. No, you're not.
And then,
Right. Like he really only wanted Lucy to marry Kit Mainwaring for her happiness.
Right, for happiness and well-being. I mean, come on.
The girl's what, in her first year of college, and she's been engaged twice?
I know.
Come on.
So she set that wedding date my birthday, by the way.
I know.
Can we just...
because Kristin shows up.
And speaking of Charlene Tilton, just a quick throw out there. Her birthday was December 1st. Happy 62nd birthday, Charlene.
I know. And that picture that everybody posted, including you, Josh, why does she never wear a bra?
She's boobing it?
There's so many nipples in all of those pictures.
I need to go look at my picture with her, and because
it wasn't just Josh. The same. Josh did like a double, right? Like a old one, new one, right?
I didn't even notice that.
Oh yeah, those. Okay, I thought you were talking about the picture of me with her at FanSource.
You were like, I didn't notice that.
It's all no.
I had my eyes on her daughter at the time. No.
No, look, the new one, she's very, very classy. But and I know that was like a 70s, 80s thing. You don't wear a bra, but she had big boobs.
Yeah.
It was. And so no judgment.
Bra.
But the one that you posted and the one that I think maybe South Fork, I don't know. But oh my God, I was like, oh my God, her nipples are like gonna break through her shirt. And I'm like,
they used to sell bras that had nipple prints in them in the early 80s.
I know, but that was the fad back then. But I don't understand because I'm like, oh my God, like it looks so like tacky.
I don't know.
Sorry,
it was a thing. It was a style.
It was, and so, but it's not just that one. It's in like 10 pictures before, but this one is very obvious.
So we're still at a time when people are arriving at the front door of South Fork instead of the back.
Oh
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
Raul, that's Kristin in the front door.
Mm-hmm.
But Lucy likes the back door.
No, Patricia Shepard likes the back door.
Patricia Shepard likes the back door.
Yes. You know what? Kristin probably likes the back door too.
She likes having farming equipment tested on the back door.
Jesus Christ!
It's Tundra Torque, actually.
Tundra Torque.
Kristin likes the back.
That's
That's
Catherine.
That's a season 6 thing.
That is.
So she claims she's dropping off some unnecessary papers.
Right, just some bullshit.
Oh yeah,
at the back door. At the back door.
Because this is Kristin's idea. I know she's been like thinking about this all day. Like, oh my god, I can do this thing and it's going to help and it's going to be great.
Isn't Lucy like, what the hell? Basically, like, what the hell are you doing here?
I know. Because Lucy's always that way.
Like, why? Well, I would be. I'd be like, bitch, why are you in my house? Yeah. Go away.
She could say her sister lives there, but they're not really close.
No one's going to buy that.
No one's going to buy that. I'm here to see my nephew, please. Has she seen?
She doesn't give a shit.
Has she seen baby John since she and Patricia were there at the?
No. She doesn't care.
No.
She held him once, fawned over him, and then it's like, oh, I have a nephew. Yeah. What's his name?
That baby. That thing that spits up out of its mouth. Yeah.
So then she lets the truth out of the bag. And
Lucy's calling her JR's stooge, and that
she's not wrong.
She's not buying it. And she sets the wedding date of June 14th. Right then and there.
Lucy. June 10th, yeah.
June 10th.
I wrote down June 14th, 6/14.
That's a very bad day.
6/14?
Yeah, it's Donald Trump's birthday.
Oh, God. I didn't know that.
How did you know that?
because I
It's
have
just right by hers.
That's also Flag Day,
It's also Flag Day, but
which is a very bad thing to have on the same day.
All right. Anyway.
So at Alan's apartment, Lucy pulls away when Alan tries to kiss her, and he explains about Betty Lou, and she claims that she's tired and she just wants to go home. That sounds like a Sue Ellen thing to me. I'm tired.
She's just not into it. She's not into him.
But she was.
I do like his couches.
He was shit.
She was into him a little bit, but I think girl's over it at this point. She's looking at all the boys in her school. She's not into Alan anymore.
And when she set the wedding date, I even wrote down she's not feeling it anymore.
Not at all.
She's like,
but she set the wedding date. Wasn't feeling it. No.
I said she wasn't feeling it when she set the wedding date, like at South Fork in front of everybody. Like she wasn't.
Was just doing it to prove a point.
She was already checked out.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
She was on autopilot at that point.
Yeah.
And now we have JR seeing Kristin for the first time since
the incident.
The throwdown at South Fork.
Yeah.
The incident.
And
oh, we're not to the part with the couches yet.
Oops. He's pissed.
Yeah, he basically fires her.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He says that Luella should come back to work, but she knows enough to cause trouble. And
right. She's basically like threatening blackmail, and JR's like,
you're not thinking of blackmailing old JR, are you?
And then she's like, oh, I would never think of it. What? No.
It's like, you know what, bruh? That's your problem. You did that. You did that.
Right.
You made your bed. You lie in it.
You did. Yeah, bad analogy, but yes.
No, I said that on purpose.
Oh, but I'm just.
But he does throw her a bone because the condo is hers until she's ready to leave for California.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Wakey.
Then we go to Cliff's apartment. Cliff has cleaned his apartment. He sprayed some Febreze, put on a suit.
Did they have Febreze then? But
I mean, he would have if they would have.
Lit a candle. Lit
a candle.
Opened a window.
Yeah. It aired out the stench. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But he said that it took Bobby trying to find him a job to get Cliff back on his feet because he never wanted to take a handout from a Ewing. He never wanted to be.
He's like, I never want to be in
again.
that place again.
Well,
some people just need a swift kick in the ass. I mean,
yeah.
Right. But he says he has some things brewing, but he won't tell Pam what they are. Yeah. And shoves her out the door. So, all right. Okay. Yep. Oh, okay. Pam, bye. Oh, yep. Cliff. Bye. Okay. Whatever.
And I love this next scene. I love it because Bobby actually calls Lucy out on wanting to get married out of spite, which is what I've been saying the whole time.
Right. Bobby Ewing, psychiatrist.
Once again.
There he goes.
Yes.
There he go.
And then he's the only person who's asked Lucy how she feels about it. The only person.
Yeah, she has no class till 11 o'clock in the morning. So that's why she's still there.
Yeah.
And he has to meet with Ray on his way into the office about something. But he tells her that spite is never a good reason to marry someone.
That's true.
And she actually thanks him.
Not.
As she leaves, she thanks him for caring.
Yeah, right. Because he's actually like talking to her like a person and asking how she feels instead of just being like, okay, how is this going to affect me? How's Lucy's marriage going to affect me?
Which is the basic fallacy of everything JR does.
That's true.
Right. And she processes that during the day. And that night at dinner, she tells Alan that she doesn't love him and the marriage is off.
Yep.
Yes, girl. Yes.
Can you hear the walls crumbling down around Alan Beam right now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but good for her.
This is where I said, hey, I like those couches.
And also, I have to point out this scene because Lucy's getting served wine in this scene. So I looked this shit up. I had to Google it.
What was the drinking age then?
Okay. The drinking age in Texas
from 1973 to 1981 was 18.
Okay.
It was up to 19. In 81, it was up to 19. And then 1984 is when we made all the states the same.
21.
And it was 21.
Right.
Because my parents were telling me the same thing. They could both drink legally when they got married in 1981 because they were 19 and 20, not quite 21 and 20 years
I did not know that. I didn't know all this.
And you cannot rent a car until you're 25.
25, yeah.
25. I think a condo
you can
is like
rent
23 at the beach or something.
It's way expensive.
Yeah, right.
Way expensive to rent a car.
Yeah.
Right. And I remember when the Drew Bledsoe was the quarterback for the Patriots at the time, was at the Pro Bowl in Hawaii. They would not rent him a car because he was not 25. So he had to buy a bicycle to ride to the stadium. Here you are, a millionaire NFL football player that everyone knows and sees on TV every week, and they will not rent you a car.
I wonder if that was back in the day because I rented a car when I was 23, 24, and I mean, I just had to pay more. And it was like
22.
It depends. It depends on the car rental place because I got married when I was 24. And we went to Seattle for our honeymoon and we were going to rent a car and we were not able to do it in Seattle. Though we could a couple years earlier in California, but we had to pay more. And also at the end of this scene, Lucy didn't eat any for dinner. And I just want to say, like, this is a fancy-ass restaurant. She's already gotten her food and they just poured another glass of wine. You know that's the good shit. And she didn't drink it or eat her food.
I wrote down wasted dinner. What was the orange slice on Alan's plate?
Oh, I don't know.
It was a slice of orange. I don't know. Was it like duck a l'orange or orange chicken or
garnish?
Something fancy.
Garnish as opposed to garnet. But when she tells him, he goes, "It's JR, isn't it? He's behind this." And it's like,
he's like, no, not really. It's me.
She doesn't love you. JR does not control her.
He's just
emotions.
not that into you, Ellen.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Right. She thinks you got too much going on the beam skin there.
Too much.
Yeah, it's just too much for her taste. And Alan's night isn't over yet because he goes over to his backup, Miss Betty Lou, who's packing the head to Falcon Crest.
Yeah.
And
she's like, I'm Audi 500, baby. Bye.
It's JR, isn't it? Oh, God. Now we're starting to see a little Alan Beam paranoia here.
Yeah.
She's like, he just reaffirmed what I already knew. I mean,
she finally realized she was just too good for him because she is.
Mm-hmm. Like, who would be okay with sitting there letting their boyfriend marry some other chick to gain money? I mean,
what the hell? No way.
She's going to be a side piece to...
Yeah. When she was the original girlfriend, like, fuck no.
Absolutely not.
No way.
No.
I wrote down, Alan just lost. Okay, it's Betty Lou's couches that I like. That's who it is.
That's because Betty Lou has good taste.
Betty Lou has good taste.
Yeah.
3 times I said, I like those couches.
She goes shopping with Serena to buy their furniture
together.
But I love her line. She goes, Betty Lou is walking and she's not coming back.
Nice.
And Alan just lost
everything.
And the wall, can we cue up John Mellencamp here? And the walls come crumbling
tumbling down.
Sarah disappeared, but we hear her voice.
We hear her, yeah.
Hilarious.
I'm here. I'm writing something.
Okay.
So let's head back to South Fork for a nice round of backgammon with Jock and Ellie.
Mm-hmm. Lucy has a fantastic white coat.
Yes.
Yes.
And she comes in and she's like, it's over.
Nobody really cares except Jock.
No.
Yeah. And meanwhile, did anyone notice Sue Ellen putting her hand over and JR gives it like that look?
Yeah, he's like, what are you doing?
What is going on here?
This scene is like one of my favorites because of how it plays out.
Yeah.
So good.
And they who tells Lucy it's her life? Sounds like something Bobby would say.
I don't know, but I noted that she was leaving to go study. Like she's going to go read a book. I'm like, fuck yes, Lucy, go read that shit, man. Go do it. Educate yourself.
Because I think she's turning her eyes on the teacher because she's got a little sparkle in her eye when she's looking at Greg
She is a little
Forrester.
hot for teacher. A little bit, yeah. But that's fine because she's also totally into Madame Bovary. So
Right. A little hot for teacher. Cue up Van Halen now.
Hot for teacher.
Can you do that guitar solo?
my kids call it. My kids call it the popcorn song.
Yeah.
Because at the beginning, the popcorn. That's how when they were little, they called it the popcorn song.
And I call Sympathy for the Devil from the Rolling Stones the woo woo song because they always say woo 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 woo. So let's cut to this last scene of the episode.
Sue Ellen is putting on a fantastic show for this family.
And JR falls for it.
Oh, it's
that
line and
good.
sinker.
He's like,
she's good.
Oh,
Yes.
he's like, oh damn, I'm gonna get some tonight. She's not faking this time.
He's into it.
So they get upstairs. He slams the door shut behind them. They start making out, which is like, whoa.
I know, right?
You haven't seen it like really consensual yet.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, oh my God. But
She's going to leave it with blue balls.
yeah. And so they get into it and he like pulls his head back and she's like, and he goes in and she like puts her fingers up on his mouth. And it's like, what is going on here? And she starts laughing. And what is it I said earlier? Like when she was talking to Miss Ellie about, I was like, don't fucking tell him your next move.
Right?
She's like, I'm gonna
Do you tell them your next move in chess or do you just do it?
You just do it.
That's her biggest mistake. Is she always is like, here's what I'm going to do next.
Listen to Nike. Just do it.
Yeah, you're like, no.
Well,
no.
that's funny you say that because I put Sue Ellen seduces JR. Damn it, she's faking it again. Just fuck already, God. And then I said, don't fucking tell him your plan. What the fuck?
Right, I know. I said, but never tell him your long game. Come on, that's never going to work out well.
And the way she said it, divorce.
And his face, the look on his face when he realizes he's been had is just chef's kiss. Love it.
Yeah, it's like
Perfect. Perfect in style.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
I agree.
Yeah. So JR's ends the episode basically
end scene
with blue balls.
End scene.
Binge.
Womp womp.
Okay, what do you guys give this one?
I put 4.25 bourbons and a roll in the hay between JR and Sue Ellen because they just need to do it already.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, I did 4.3 with Lucy being a badass.
Nice. Josh?
Thinking for a second.
Okay, I'll do mine.
You go ahead.
I did 3.75 and a copy of Madame Bovary and a blanket for it to read it in.
A blanket for it. I like that.
Oh, isn't that sweet?
It is.
I gave it a 0. No.
Okay.
No, yeah, I went with a 4.25 and JR is left with blue balls.
Yes.
And I don't really feel bad for him.
No, not at all.
He deserves it.
No, totally.
All the times.
100%.
All the times.
Yeah.
All the times he ran off and left her.
No. I'm really giving it a 4.25 and the use of the condo until we leave for California.
Oh, I like that.
Very smart.
Yes.
All right. We finally got it in the bag.
Can?
In the bag. Not in the can, but in the bag.
Because most drunks drink out of a bag.
That's me. Wine bag.
Only if it's like the bag, the wine bag inside of like a box of wine. Box of wine.
Yeah,
that's me. But
nobody paper bags it anymore.
And here's the thing: when you take out that bag, because there's just like a little tiny bit left, and you need to like uncrinkle it, it looks like a blood bag.
It does, but you take it out. No one knows that, but you take it out. I told my stepmom that. She's like, "Oh my god, you get a whole nother glass out."
You do. You have to take it out and like twist it.
That's a true sign of alcohol.
It's like squeezing the urine out of a bladder.
It's really cheap. I'm cheap.
It's not
me.
Cheap.
No, that's what I said. I was like, no, I'm just cheap.
It's not wasteful.
Break that box open, pull the bag out.
If people are going to go to such extremes to squeeze every drop of toothpaste out of a tube,
right? Which I also do.
I do that. I do too.
That's just not being wasteful. That's not wasting your resources. That's being responsible. Okay, so thank you for joining us tonight on the Ewing Barbecue. Join us next time. And until then, subscribe to us and tell your friends to listen to us.
And the holidays are coming, so you might want a nice T-shirt or something for
check
merchandise.
Yeah, it's on Teespring/Ewing BBQ. Please check it out.
It would make great holiday gifts for everyone in your family because we need clothing in the winter to keep us all warm.
Yes,
and we need to share our logo.
The hoodie, I have to tell you, it's my favorite hoodie, and not just because of that. Like, it's soft. It's a soft, warm hoodie. So whenever I just want to make coffee, I put it on.
Do we have beanie toboggans? Like,
we don't, but that's a good idea.
We need those.
We do need those, and I'm going to look into that.
Beanie toboggans? What's that?
Well,
is that like a winter hat?
Winter hat.
Where is
okay.
Beanie sweatshirt?
They call them beanies, toboggans, winter hats. Just like
I haven't heard toboggan. That's a new one for me.
And I'm also looking into making some new merch. So we don't have it yet, but I'm thinking about making some. So keep tracking back.
I got the sweatshirt last year. Where is it? I'm gonna have the hiccups.
Could we get a Ewing Barbecue podcast bourbon bottle?
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Or a shot glass.
Beer glass.
Shot glasses.
We need a shot glass.
Wine glass, pint glass, shot glass.
Okay. I'm gonna look into this.
I'm the wine girl. Yes.
I will look into that.
I could get into that.
Well, thank you again for joining us. And hey, review us on iTunes, please. Give us 5 stars, please.
5 stars.
We want to be able to enter podcast awards in the future. So.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That'd be so cool.
And we need a lot more likes for that, so please do that. Okay. Yes. Until then, we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Y'all come back now. You hear?
No, me.
I said bye early, like 5 seconds ago.
Nobody heard. Your mic's really far away, so I think that we just didn't hear you.
Goodbye.
Next on Dallas.
Happy anniversary! Happy anniversary, darling.
Well, thank you. Why?
You can't figure it out.
You're going to try to use this to take my son away?
Our son, JR. It's the one thing we managed to achieve together.
I'd kill you first.
You don't have the guts.
I've got to get Sue Ellen back in that sanitarium. And I might need your help for that, honey.
But this time, I want more. I want to be Mrs. J.R. Ewing.
Guaranteed.